Hello, I'm Pia and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make a foldable gift bag in size extra large with We Are Memory Keepers gift bag punchboard. Now the punchboard actually only makes the sizes small, medium and large, which is this big. But I'm going to use two pieces of design paper, 12 times 12 inch big. It's in about 200 to 240 GSM, and the gift bag will be about this wide. So it's going to be quite a lot bigger than the one you can actually make with the punchboard. So to begin off, we start with one sheet, line it up here, and we make the first punch. Then we go over to the other side because this side is going to be one side of the gift bag. And I'm lining it up, the side of the sheet, with the S line. And I score. Now be aware that you don't score too long because the punchboard is not very long. So, and you might risk tearing the paper if you get over the edge. Now also make this line and the triangle and also the bottom line to score that one as well, and punch. There we go. Now the top of the punch mark I line up with the side marker in the punch board and I score the line here. So this side to the right is going to be the side of my gift bag, and don't forget to score the whole bottom line here. I'm just sliding my sheet of paper a bit by bit and making the score line. There we go, and that's it. Now we need to make one more punch. Now line up the last line here, line it up here, and we punch again. Now this last bit is going to be the part where I glued together the two sheets to create the gift bag. Take the other sheet now and repeat the process. Just doing exactly the same as we did with the first sheet. So I've sped up the process now because we don't actually need to spend so much time on this. But again, I just want to add, be careful that when you score the lines, you don't get over the edge of the scoreboard because you might risk tearing off the paper, and that would be really a shame that you have to drop the project because you kind of ruined the paper or make the gift bag smaller. But today we're going to really take advantage of the full size of a 12 inch times 12 inch paper. Just cutting off this little bit, we don't need it. And again, remember to do this score line here at the top of the punch mark. Here we go, that. Now to finish off the score lines, because the 12 times 12 paper is too big, too wide, so I need to use my scoreboard to finish off the score lines. And I'm using, on my scoreboard, I've actually, with a pen, marked the 6 inch score line. And it's just so it's easier to see. It's something I've done many years ago. To make the sort of in-between score line from the top of the triangle part, I'm lining up the two other score lines on the scoreboard, sort of feeling that when they fall into a score line, and that way I'm spending actually a bit of time here because I want to make sure that I get my middle score line exactly the right place. I know I've got some of the score line already, so it's only the top bit that I'm missing out on, but it's quite important to get this as precise as possible. There we go. And I'm actually also going to do the middle score line from the other side, because when we're going to fold together the gift bag, these folds are going the other way, the opposite way, you can say. And here again, I'm spending a bit of time making sure I've got the correct position, and then I can score. The top of my gift bag, I'm going to fold over the top edge. It is to reinforce the top edge because I'm going to be adding handles to the gift bag. I'm doing this score line at 1.5 inch. You can choose not to do it so that the gift bag is higher, but you can also choose to do it like smaller than 1.5 inch or bigger than 1.5 inch. Now this design paper, the pattern on it doesn't matter how high my gift bag is, but what if I had a pattern on the gift bag that I didn't want to sort of take too much off? So it's a matter of preference if you want that foldable top to reinforce the handles. So I've repeated the process for the second sheet here as well. Now doing the top score line at 1.5 inch. There we go. So now I can fold and press my score lines with the bone folder. Here we go. And now the side, I have to be a bit careful because I've got that middle score line from the top of the triangle. Here we go. So I can't press that all the way down, otherwise I'm going to ruin the triangle. Here I am using my fingers to get the triangle full score lines to be exactly as they should. There we go. Now you have to choose one of the sheets as your back side of the gift bag because this gift bag is going to be foldable. Now I need an extra score line and I'm making it just a little bit below the top of the triangle. So the top tip of the triangle, you make the score line a little bit below that point. There we go, and I'm fine just making sure I've got the right score line, and there we go. So just below the top of the tip of the triangle, where those lines intersect, you make a score line. There we go, I'm just making sure. This score line, now it's the bottom one. The bottom one for the bottom of the gift bag, you can press, but the foldable score line, I suggest that you don't press. You just use your fingers to sort of make it bendable. There we go. And I'm just making sure. And here again, in order, I want to make my top bend a bit pretty. I could leave it as it is, but I want it to look also nice inside of the gift bag. So I'm using the punch to make nice rounded edges in every corner of the gift bag. So that means I have to make 3 punches on this sheet. And it actually also almost makes it so it's hard to know the difference between the top of the bottom of the gift bag at the moment. So there we go. Bend them over. Yeah, making sure. That's it. And I'm using my bone folder to press the line. And that little snippet, I don't need it because the last bit there is going to be used to glue the 2 pieces together. As before, repeat the process with the other sheet, making these punches so that the top is going to look really nice inside of the gift bag. There we go. So, finishing off the last score lines, folding them, doing the last bit of pressing with the bone folder. And now we are almost ready to take these 2 pieces and glue them together to create the gift bag. As before, I am just making sure I've got all the foldable score lines folded and pressed, and the triangle bit as well, pressed into form, pressed into shape, I guess it's called in English. There we go. Yeah. And I've got the top of my gift bag. That's it. I begin with adding some liquid glue to the top of my gift bag. So this is the part, the top of the gift bag, I fold down to reinforce. I glue that first before I fold the gift bag. You can also choose, which will actually give you a nicer result, to do this after you've glued the two sheets together. So it depends on whether or not I did it this way around in this video. Honestly, I didn't think much about it at the time. It just seemed logical for me. But you actually do get the best result if you wait until you've glued the two sides together. Which is now we can do that. So we are ready to put these two pieces into one. I'm using liquid glue because liquid glue always gives you time, gives you a bit of wiggle room to make sure that your project is perfectly aligned. I'm adding a bit, not too much, but also not too little, as this is a gift bag, so it should be able to hold for a bit of sturdiness. But the most important thing is to make sure that these two sheets are perfectly aligned on top of each other. And sorry about the top of my head. So I am using quite a bit of time to make sure that these two sheets are perfectly laying on top of each other. There we go. And I'm letting it dry a bit before I continue working on the other side of the gift bag. I'm using these office clamps I have. Anything else can use. You don't actually need to use anything if you leave it to dry completely before you continue work on the other side. Here we go. And I'm making sure I've got a really good result with aligning the two. So I flip it up the top side and I can add the liquid glue. There we go. And this part is always the one where you hope you don't get too much glue on your fingertips. That's the downside of working with liquid glue. Sometimes you just end up with glue everywhere. And sometimes places you don't want glue. Well, there we go. Making sure I've got that part down and pressing the side down. Making sure, as before, I let this dry a bit before I continue working on the gift bag. So I'm leaving it for a few minutes. So now it's time for the bottom of the gift bag. For this, I am going to use a pencil because I want to make sure that the area I add my liquid glue is only where I want it. So I don't have liquid glue outside, because visible glue is just not nice. It's not pretty, and we always want it to look its best. Remember to add some glue to the little flaps, side flaps. Just giving a bit. And now I can add the glue inside the area where I did my pencil markings, making sure I've got it here. Now, in this process, it is important to make sure that you hold the gift bag in a rectangular shape. This is important when we want it to be foldable, and also because we want it to look nice basically, but also for it to be foldable. So hold it and let it dry a bit, and then turn it over, and you can use your fingertips to press the bottom. There we go. Giving it a good push to make sure that the glue really sticks to both pieces of cardstock. And we are almost done now. But now it's time to check the foldable score line to see if it really works. This is actually the most exciting part of it, in my opinion, is to sort of see if it worked, if it's perfect. There we go. It's just as it should be. So the last bit we need now is to add the handles to the gift bag. So what I do is I use the grid lines on my surface. I use these more visible lines, the whiter lines. So I make sure that my gift bag is sort of positioned so that the two white lines are in the middle of the gift bag. You can see my fingertips. I was counting and making sure I've got it there. And in order to make the pencil marks, I am using a T ruler, which I'm laying across my gift bag. Now, I'm just winging it now about how high, low I want my holes for the handles. And I think it's about 2.5 centimeters down. I'm making my marks. I'm sorry, I don't know the inch side at this point. I'm from Denmark. We use centimeters. So it's a mixture of inches and centimeters here. To make the holes, I use my Crocodile 2, the big one. It has two settings. It's got a small one, small punch, and it's got a big punch. And I'm using the big one for these holes because I want to be able to put some ribbon through the holes. There we go, just lining up at my pencil mark. I know you can't see this, but I am doing my best to hit the target so it gets perfect results. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm punching through both layers at this moment. So I'm getting it all done in one. I've got some Grogen ribbon for the handles. I got this lovely blue colour. It's so nice. So the length of my handles is, I'm winging it. I don't have an exact length or anything. I'm just taking a piece, making sure, say, okay, that's a nice length. And I think that looks good. Just pulling them through the hole and making a knot. That's it. Maybe some of you have a sort of nicer, prettier way to do it. I'm just doing it this. It's quick. It's easy. The ends, you can see, gets a bit flossed. So if I really wanted to do this perfectly, I could take a lighter and melt the ends of the ribbon, and that would make them not floss. But there we go. Oh, I'm doing my best to really be super quick at tying knots. It's not every day I get to do this, tie knots. There we go. And that's it. It's done. A foldable gift bag size extra large using the We Are Memory Keepers Punchboard. I really love how this turned out. Really do. And you can see the sides, it's easy to fold together. So if you're not going to use it right away, you can store it away in the closet and take it out when you need it. Make many more. But it has a really good size because it's out of two 12x12 inch design papers. And here's the finished result. It looks really good. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and have a nice day.